Benjamin Sesko, 2 weeks ago, he was getting slandered online. And I said it. This is like a 23-year-old that's joined a new league, that's joined one of the hardest teams in the world to play for, if not the hardest, under immense amount of pressure, where he's getting no service. And some people were like, after 3-4 games, they were like, yeah, he's rubbish. They've concluded that he's rubbish. And I just thought that was so embarrassing. I did a video calling out. I thought it was so embarrassing. Those people, they're not so loud now, are they? Gyokeres, 2 open play goals in over 500 minutes. Yeah. Benjamin Sesko has also got 2 open play goals in a lot less minutes than Victor Gyokeres. Benjamin Sesko has also got the same amount of open play goals as Victor Gyokeres in a team that doesn't score as much as Arsenal. He's less experienced. He's younger. But interestingly, Benjamin Sesko's all-round play is what impressed me. I don't want to talk about the goals. The goals are great. Great. He scored 2 goals. But even if he didn't score yesterday, and even if he didn't score, that first half versus Brentford from Sesko was really good. And actually, he's had a few alright games for United. But as a striker, you need the goals. So we're going to talk about Sesko, because Sesko's made some comments on his game that I think showed that he's a humble guy with a great mentality. We're going to talk about Amorim's comments on Sesko, which I agree with. We're going to talk about what nobody wants to admit about Sesko. We're going to talk about the Sesko haters going quiet, but we're not just going to talk about Benjamin Sesko. We're going to talk about Manchester United. Is it time to build upon this form? We've got Liverpool next. We're going to talk about Shea Lacey potentially coming in, and we will talk about Kobbie Mainoo and his lack of minutes. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to the 10-minute Manchester United news and update show. If you do enjoy today's video, feel free to hit that like button, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section, and let's get into it. Benjamin Sesko asked by a reporter if we're starting to see the best of him. No, yet. There's loads to come. I love that answer from Sesko. He scored a couple goals, he's playing well. Nah, you ain't even seen the best of me yet. I love that. Do you know what I love that? I love his mentality. I like it, you know. I think it's, I can do more, I can be better than this. I've got a few good games. Confidence is big. I think he will improve with confidence, but I like that. Ruben Amorim was also asked about Sesko, and he said, so all the characteristics that Benjamin Sesko, not just the goals, but all the characteristics can help us win games, we're happy with him. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. That is not a bad thing. He has potential to do so much more. And I absolutely agree with what Ruben Amorim said. Look, I'm agreeing with Ruben Amorim. We don't always disagree. Benjamin Sesko isn't just goals, it's the characteristics. There's so many good characteristics that Benjamin Sesko has that outside of the goals, if you watch like the highlights from the game, he had a really good game today. And Amorim is spot on. This was a comment I saw on Twitter that I wanted to screenshot because I completely agree with it. And, you know, it's very optimistic, but I see it. I see the vision. Maybe I'm being too positive. People always say, Alice, the minute we win a game, you get way too positive. I like to be positive. There's not much to be positive about when we don't win a lot of games. So when we do win a game and I can be positive, I like to be positive. 1 minute I'm delusional and positive, and I'm deluded positivity. I get accused of being deludedly positive. And the next minute I'm negative. So I can never win. But I read this and I agree with it. Sesko will be a top centre-forward for many years at Manchester United. I think he will be if we create a sustainable environment. Okay? Big word. You can be a great player, come to Manchester United, look good in your first season, then become crap. Sesko will be a top centre-forward at Manchester United if we create a sustainable environment, which comes all the way from the top, like the Glazers, who need to go, to the bottom. Hold up play brilliant today, and the goals are coming. Works his socks off all day long too. Do you know what it is about Sesko? It was the pressing, it was the work rate, it was the dropping deep, the movement, but the amount of times he was winning those second balls, the amount of times he's winning those headers in the air and laying it on, the little flicks. You know, Højlund, I felt for him because he was starved of service, and now he's getting service at Napoli. He's scoring, of course, it's an easier league, but look how well Højlund is doing, and I'm very happy for Højlund. But what Sesko's adding a few things that Højlund didn't add, and this was the reason why Xerxes was the better striker towards the back end of the season last year, is because Xerxes, who wasn't scoring goals, was at least touching it and laying on some passes and holding up the ball. Whereas both Højlund and Xerxes weren't scoring, but Xerxes at least was adding to our build-up play, whereas Højlund wasn't. Sesko is starting to add to our build-up play, which is something I don't think we saw a lot of Højlund, where it comes to holding up the ball. Like, Højlund did that here and there, but Sesko does it a lot better. Like, when you kick the ball out from a goal kick or you kick the ball out in the air, Sesko is much better at bringing it down, controlling it, laying on those flicks. And he always has been. Like, that's what he was known for at Leipzig. But he works his socks off. Højlund also works his socks off. But it was just the touch, the control, the link-up play, his movement just seems that little bit ahead of Rasmus Højlund's. And look, I saw DR Sports post this. Both Gyokeres and Sesko now have 2 non-penalty goals, and Gyokeres has played nearly 200 minutes more than Sesko for a better side. Now, don't get me wrong, I thought Gyokeres was fantastic in the game versus Newcastle, and he didn't get a goal or assist versus Newcastle, but I thought his all-round performance was absolutely fantastic. But I think Sesko's all-round performances are going under the radar. I think Sesko's all-round play, I think Gyokeres, is a better goal scorer in it maybe when you run him into the channels, and I think if Arsenal played Gyokeres to his strengths, he's a crazy player. But I think Sesko looking a little bit like, I can see why maybe Arteta originally wanted Sesko over Gyokeres now. Now, look, I'm not trying to be reactionary. We'll see how both players do at the end of the season. I'm not saying that Sesko is better than Gyokeres. Okay, I'm just going to clarify that. But I was someone that wanted Victor Gyokeres over Sesko. As a Manchester United fan, I wanted Victor Gyokeres over Sesko because he'd done it in Amorim's system. He had the experience that we need, an experienced striker. But having watched them both play this season, there's a part of me that thinks Sesko's going to go on and have the better season. And that'd be really nice because very rarely do we miss out on deals and end up better for it. When we missed out on Sancho originally, we got Amad Diallo and it was a blessing in disguise. We missed out on Gyokeres. Arsenal let after us missing out on Gyokeres. But maybe Sesko's the better player, and that would be nice. It's a bit like how, Chelsea laughed at Arsenal for missing out on Mudryk, and Mudryk's probably been Chelsea's worst ever signing. So, things can happen. But I'm really impressed with what I've seen from Sesko, especially if someone that wanted an Osimhen or Gyokeres to come in with just because I wanted a proven striker. I think that what Sesko's shown is really impressive. And look, as I said, I always backed Sesko. The minute we signed him, I backed him. And I've always said, you've got to be patient. You've got to give him time. This is another young striker coming in. We don't give our strikers a lot of service. But I think what Sesko's been doing the last 2 games has been good. And I really like Sesko's comments. Scoring at Old Trafford has been the moment I've dreamed about as a kid. The atmosphere here is unbelievable. Not just after the goal, but after every tackle as well. It's a dream come true. I'm happy we won. And it's just good to see that Sesko is here. He's happy. He loves winning back the ball. He loves scoring goals. He loves the atmosphere. He's happy we've won. And I'm happy as well. And I think the people that, and even Man United fans, a lot of it was rivals, but there were some Man United fans that I saw online after 3 games saying Sesko's going to be a flop. And I just couldn't believe after the Grimsby game and the City game that there was Man United fans out there that just said Sesko's going to be a flop. This is a young striker. This is, Isak originally was going to be a flop at Newcastle after his first 2 games, and they went and got 150 million for him. He's a young player in a new league, playing for a team that struggles to create chances, and people wanted to call him a flop in less than 3 games, which I just thought was embarrassing. You can see that Sesko's a level above Højlund when you look at his touches, how he controls the ball, how he controls it from goal kicks and more. He scored 2, I said crappy goals, I meant to put scrappy goals. Because crappy goals, there's no such thing as a crappy goal. He scored 2 what we call scrappy goals. The first one, was more scrappy. The second one was good movement, and that's a good thing. We want strikers to score scrappy goals. If he scores well, he's great. But what we don't do at Manchester United is have someone to tap it in. We need someone that is just going to tap it in, and that is what Sesko has done, and that is what we lack. That's what Haaland is so good at, tapping it in. We need a striker that can do that. And Sesko's done that. Højlund was never there. And look, Højlund's, for me, I think had a great first season at United, is doing great at Napoli, and I think confidence is a big thing for Højlund. We didn't give him the service. But Højlund was someone that ran the channels and did this and that. We need someone that's going to score goals. And I feel like Sesko looks like he maybe is a more natural goal scorer in that position. I think he has good movement. I think, we know Højlund was a promising striker that lacks service, and the fear is that Sesko will come in and end up like Højlund because he doesn't get service. And I do think if Sesko does underperform, it won't all be his fault. But I think even if Sesko wasn't scoring, I think he's adding a lot more to our all-round game than maybe he's getting credit for. So I think we're starting to see what Sesko has to bring. And I completely agree with what H said here. Hopefully people can see why I always love Sesko as a player and why the idea of his final form is exciting for me. You can all see the tools, the physicality and the technicality, even the mental side of the game, continuous movement, even when I ignored, and leads the press better than I thought he would. We just need him sharp with momentum and confidence, but don't forget the player you're looking at, the pathway, the performances, our visible, handle it well please. And I agree with H. I think Sesko has everything we need for him to succeed, but it is down to the sustainability and the setup of Manchester United. It's about developing as a player. It's about creating the right environment for him to get confidence and flourish in. I think Sesko has it. He just needs that right environment. Lamens obviously had a very good debut, so we can hope he can keep that up. United have now won 4 of their last 8 Premier League games, which is good. But we need to win back-to-back games, and if we can do back-to-back games at Anfield, I don't think there's a better place to do it at. It was said by Solly that Shea Lacey trained with the first team yesterday and has no issues relating to fitness. The club is just being careful with his development and are giving him time to rest ahead of the international break. But Shea Lacey has been training a lot with the first team. And it has also been said, according to the Daily Mail, that Kobbie Mainoo will push to leave Manchester United again in January if Amorim is still there. Napoli are his top choice this summer, as he'd like to join McTominay and Højlund, but both Madrid clubs are interested. So look, Mainoo didn't get very many minutes yesterday. I'd like to see Bruno pushed up as a 10 and Mainoo in the pivot of Casemiro in some games, but Amorim doesn't seem to know how to use Mainoo, which is frustrating because as good as Bruno is, Bruno's better as a 10, and I know we have a lot of 10s, but I just want to see Bruno higher up, and I think Mainoo in that pivot to just help with central control. I think the first half was unbelievable versus Sunderland, but I do think in the second half we lacked that control, and maybe Mainoo could have come on sooner then. Anyway, people, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. See you next time. Bye.